Kimbo na Tanzania Mazulu Kimfumukia Kuisa. What a great day. Uh, we have a great topic for you guys. Today we invited our Yaya, also elder Denim Richards. He's here with us. Um, for the people that don't know Denim Richards, Denim Richards is a brother that is doing his things in the Botswana and great things. And yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I think it's been a little over or almost 1 year since we did like our last video. That's how the life is like accelerating. It's so funny how fast it feels like it was like a month ago, but it was a year ago that we did our last
Yes.
video. It's insane.
Yeah, that's the truth. The time is going fast, and that's why I'm always scared. From my side, this year, um, we lost Lutumba from Zambe Malamu. Zambe Malamu is one of the biggest churches that exist in Angola. The second biggest church. This, these people have millions and millions of followers. Nzambe Malamu means God is good. Yeah, God is good. The God is good church. They exist in Congo, South Africa, Angola, all over the world. And the leader in Angola died.
Nice.
Then another guy died just a week ago, car accident. He was with his two childrens and his wife in the car, but the only one who died is he. So I think it was his time. So then we had another guy in Congo also dying. So many people, also those who do the Most High's work, are dying.
Mm,
And I always used to say to my wife, baby, I need a lot of children. Yeah.
yeah.
I need a lot of children because, yeah, exactly. Because I say, hey, I can't give you so many. I say so. Still now I couldn't convince her, so it's a, it's a big topic at home
I
because
understand.
I'm scared. Hey, what's going on?
Mm,
Solomon wasn't too old. Isaiah wasn't too old. No one of the Bible becomes like 100 and something, yeah, because the Most High's work is tough. We can
mm.
see how the battle is, even for people that not done, that everyone that wants to change the situation of the black man, or everyone that is like you in the film industry, um, can tell us, I think, something about challenges and fights. Huh? How is it for your side?
Yeah, well, just to go off of what one of the last things you were saying, it's like it's funny because there's times in my life where like I'll be praying and meditating with the Most High, and sometimes I don't get visions that are super far in the future, and it makes me a little bit nervous because then I'm like, if I'm not seeing 75 years old, if I'm not seeing myself at 65 or 55, then it makes me be like, dang, maybe, time is very fast. Right. And so I understand what you're saying because it can be a little bit like, you look at all of the people that came before us, our ancestors, the ones that were really trying to do the Most High's work, and they didn't last that long. And so that's can be a little bit nerve wracking, but you can't allow yourself to get paralyzed by that. But yeah, I mean, the entertainment industry for most people, I don't know, I'm an actor that, I work in Hollywood. I'm on a TV series right now. But I spend most of my time in Botswana when I'm not filming in the US. And I'm building the entertainment industry in Botswana because it's what I know. And the great thing about Africa is that there's so many opportunities, but it's really smart that if you have a craft or if you have a skill, just to take that and just do that and focus on that. And then from that, expand out. But the entertainment industry is very hard. It's very expensive. It's very competitive. And it takes a lot of moving pieces. It's not, as simple as, being able to like just dig a hole, put a seed, water it, cultivate it, and go. There's a lot of moving parts. There's hundreds and hundreds of people that it takes to be able to build. But, I'm very blessed and fortunate because of what I do. I know a lot of these moving pieces. I've been able to get a couple brothers from the US to go over to Botswana with me to do some of the projects, at least temporarily. And then kind of just show them the opportunities that are there in the hopes of enticing them later down the future to uproot and bring their family. But it's a good opportunity, but it comes with its set of challenges.
Exactly. And we're going to talk about the challenges today, so that our people are informed about Africa. Yeah. So my mom just called me 2 days ago and said, "Hey, it wasn't my mom. It was my mom's sister." She said, "Here, Africa is so expensive. We have someone going to Ghana, a family, and they took all their goods with them and businesses, and later they packed and went. They said it's too expensive. Let's go back to the United States." So the thing is, I understand everyone that has the passion to come to Africa. Um, in the future, uh, we will be. It's like the most of the people will try to enter Africa, and it will be even more expensive. The things won't be easier for people. The thing that we have said so far all the time is that if people come now, or they have to establish themselves, they have to put a foundation. Brother Danny came to Botswana. He didn't do his film studio in 2 days. He's still working on it. The thing is that you can't come and do something fast. It won't work. Um, Africa is not open to receive our people and just make it easier for them. It's the opposite. Huh? They steal. They try to get their profit here and there. They do not understand what you're coming with or where you're coming from. Yeah, they do not even know the diaspora. They do not understand what we are going through in the West. And the other thing, what they do not know is they do not know that the West is in danger, that the West is going down. If I go to politics, I don't want to take too much time. Putin just said because of the thing, or because the Americans and the Europeans came to his territory and helping the Ukraine, he said, "You guys don't know what kind of bombs I have. Who told you to come and to help the Ukraine people?" Yeah.
Right.
He said, "Amen. I'm not going to your places." And when you are fighting Iraq, Iran, he said it very clear. So he's very open. He said, "You guys, I will beat you up." You know. So, brothers and sisters, the world is changing. Yeah. And if you are living in Africa, the thing what you're seeing is that many Europeans, Russians, and Chinese are coming over in masses. And they are also fighting in their ways to establish themselves in the land. And many people will say, "Oh, this is the land of the Most High. How can it be that we see Chinese people, Indian people, Arabs coming to your land and staying there?" The truth is that the Most High said it very clear in the scriptures that they will do it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the funny part.
Was it
Yeah,
like in the book of Isaiah or something that he talks about?
exactly. The book of Isaiah, the book of Isaiah 60.
Yeah.
It's the prophet said it. They said like um, they said that many people, many
Nation,
many
nation
nations
are. Yeah.
Revelation 7. It's many nations will live. He's even counting us
Right.
as few and saying more nations than us will be saved. That's the
Mm,
funny part.
mm.
Yeah. But now people will be like, how can it be that so many nations are fleeing to those countries? Because
Right.
at the moment, these nations are like, let's take over.
Right.
Let's take over. It's ours. Let's build. Let's establish ourselves. Let's make children.
Right.
Let's teach them our language. Let's teach them
Yep.
our culture, what they
Yep.
already know, because
Yep.
we are already westernized in Africa as well. Africa is the West too. There's a Western system. There's a Western everything, but in the bad way.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
in the African way. You know.
The way that they said to cut us off, right? Being a people, but
Exactly.
in that way.
Everything is upside down here. So
Yeah.
everything is slow, and it depends who colonized you. Yeah,
Right.
then it becomes worse. Even So the
Mm-hmm.
English countries are doing well. Yeah, if
Right.
you are colonized from the French colonies or some others, then these countries are really rough.
Very bad.
Yeah, very
Very bad.
very bad.
And
So
and
the
and, and just
yes,
to step on that, the like you're saying, depending on what country you were colonized by, you end up taking the identity. It's like a mother birthing a child, right? The child has the imprint of the mother. And so when you look at the continent as a whole, you can tell when you go to Central Africa all the way over to like where Angola is, and you can see, okay, they take on the same identification as the way that the Portuguese would be in Angola. In Botswana, you can see that, okay, you were colonized by the British. So you can literally go to Britain and see the way that they act, the way that their gestures are, the way that they view other people. And it'll be the same way in the country in Africa. So you don't have to go far to be able in Africa to be able to see like, oh, this is literally like being over there. And they want it to be like that to the point where like even in Botswana, they don't wear almost any traditional garb unless it's a wedding or a funeral or whatever. And even now, like in Botswana, they will do two weddings. They'll do like the white wedding, right? Which was done by the queen. They just because the queen one day decided to wear a white gown for a wedding and that became the standard for weddings. So they'll do one white wedding and then one quote unquote traditional wedding, right? And that happens all over Africa. So it just shows, it just the basic things of like over generations, you don't know any of your history, you don't know any of your culture. And when you don't know any of that, you don't have any firm ground to stand on. You have no roots. And when you have no roots, you become easily manipulated. And then you take on the identity, like so many countries in Africa where they're having this identity crisis where they're trying to hold on to their culture, but then they also want the West to accept them. But the only way that the West will accept them is if they take on the identity of the West, right? So it's a very interesting thing, is like what you're talking about of that identity struggle, but then how westernized the continent has really become and becoming, and not necessarily in the ways of the people would think like the way that you see it in like Black Panther, like in Wakanda. You're not getting like this great technology and this great, all these other things that you would think is that's what it is in the West, like Silicon Valley and San Francisco. It's in all of the ways that deindustrialize and ruin a thing where it may look good right now, but when you get to the top, it just goes straight down. So I totally agree with you.
exactly. These are the struggles that we have here, and the thing that I always hear from the elders is be patient, be patient, be patient. If you come with your Western mindset, um, fast, fast, because we do everything fast. We have no
Yeah,
time.
right.
You will lose everything.
You
You
lose
will
everything.
lose everything, and you need friendly people around you. Yeah, friendly people, because it's everyone wants to take from you.
Right,
Yeah?
right,
Everyone wants to take for you and get profit from you. And this is for people, even for people that work for people and help people for the diaspora. They have always to pray, if someone helps them, that he will be not fooled or tricked. Yeah,
right, right,
because it's tough.
right.
The thing is, when we talk about businesses in Africa,
Mm,
this is the future. Yeah, the future is doing businesses in Africa.
Yeah.
You can go to the Western people. You can go to the Eastern people, the Asian. Yeah, everyone is trying to to put his food
Football.
into Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no way out.
Right.
Yeah, without conquering or colonizing Africa.
Right.
Yeah, Africa will have his problems here and there, but it won't be. The most will not let it happen that they come and fight us with guns and bombs. It's
Right.
happening already. Yeah,
Right.
this is going now to the west. This wind is going to the west.
Right.
Poverty is going to the west.
Yep.
Everything that comes to nature disasters is going to the west.
Yeah.
Famine, pestilences,
Mm-hmm.
sickness. It
Mm-hmm.
would just pass us like this, pass by.
Right.
Why not Africa? People will start asking, why not Africa? At the last, they will even try to keep you guys in camps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they don't want to. Africa will be like a place of salvation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can believe it or not, because many people are like, they do not understand that the wind has changed.
Right.
Yeah, and there's another thing that our forefathers said, and that is well written in the Bible, and it's well seen by the Westerners. We have still 80% of our wealth.
Wealth.
Even in the Sahara, the sand under the earth, you will find everywhere in all Africa. It's full of treasures.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. Africa is the biggest continent on earth.
Right.
So when the Most High will open up, like he said he later my children will have something. Yeah.
Right.
Without selling their souls and trying to become so westernized and whatever, they will have. I will give them the opportunity to have
Right.
something.
Right.
And he's talking about those people that came among you. He's
Mm.
saying about those people that they will now nurse your children. They will now help you guys. They will now build for you. So
Right.
when you're seeing people are coming to Africa, the Western people, don't think that they are coming just to take over, because the most I will have a plan from them.
They're coming to serve. They're coming to serve you in the long term, right? In the
They're
long
coming in
run.
the other way also to change something, because we
Right.
ourselves, when we are going against the government,
Mhm.
they're like, who are you guys, man?
Yeah.
I'm the king here, I'm the kingpin. But if these white people are saying now change, we won't live good in Africa, we want to have streets, we want to have kindergarten, schools, he will be like, a white man is telling me these things,
Mhm.
I will be scared, let me do it.
Right. Right. Right.
So you can see countries like Kenya, they are coming strong. South Africa was always nice, but they are doing it. They are trying to make it better. You see Botswana very strong the last years in economy. My goodness,
Yeah,
yeah,
Botswana's doing, it's interesting, and I think that's why I think it's important that we have these conversations, because we can get into the spiritual aspect, like how we were talking about before. We get into the spiritual aspect of like biblical end time prophecy, and then how do you then compartmentalize that of understanding that that exists and that's going to come to pass because the Most High said so, but then also finding a way to maximize every single day. And so, for an example, like with Botswana, their economy is doing relatively well. Although if you ask the everyday Botswana, they would say, there's no this, there's no jobs, there's no money. But when you pay attention to what's going on, they are scaling so big. And what they're essentially saying is that they want the people of Botswana, the Botswana, they want you to try to figure out how to come with them. And if you don't come with them, the West is just going to come in and bring their people and fill their people in those jobs. And that's what it's been like in most countries. And I think that one of the important things overall is to really discuss the importance of, when you know about biblical end time prophecies and you understand that these things you cannot get so analytical about the end that you then get paralyzed with today, right? There's nothing, because that stuff it's going to happen, but it's not happening right now. Right now, you're watching a video. right? So right now there's an opportunity to be building and to be cultivating. You still must work, right? For us as men, the Most High said, you will always work. This is what you will do. You will work with your hands, and that was what you're to continue to do. It was never, oh, well, the Most High, he's going to come back and he's going to know, we'll just sit on this rock and wait. It doesn't work like that. The Most High will say, okay, get out of the kingdom. I have no use for you. So part of our service to the Most High is to continue to work. Part of our service to the Most High is to sit there and go, look, we understand that it's difficult. We understand that this is challenging. And we understand that a lot of us are not going to be successful, but we sure as hell are going to try until the very end. And I think that for a lot of people, like what you were saying, is we come over, we have a very microwave society, this generation. That generation meaning like 35 and under. We want everything to be a microwave. You want to go in, put your food in, push 30 seconds, and then boom, food comes out hot. But everything tastes better in the oven, right? It takes time. You got to adjust the temperature. You test it a couple times. That is what Africa is. It is not a microwave where you can just go there with an idea and $1, stick it into the ground, and then all of a sudden there's all these other things. It takes time. You're probably going to get, screwed on a deal. Somebody's probably going to mislead you once or twice, because the reality of it is, because a lot of people are very hungry, you may say, hey, I need someone to help cultivate my land, or I need somebody to help me register a business, or I need to be able to get a visa. And almost everybody that you ask, they'll say that they can do it. Oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. Right. And yeah, as you would know, they'll all say it. And then you go, this is exactly what Yaya was saying. He said, find somebody that can do this. You give them money, and then you'll touch base with them. Or number one, their WhatsApp no longer works anymore. Right now, they've taken your money. They have your identity. You can't get a hold of them because their internet doesn't work. So they have no WhatsApp. You can't find them because they weren't in an office or whatever. They found you like on the street. So there's no way to get to them. And this is just part of it. And a lot of people, this happens to them once or twice, and they go, you know what? It's better for me just to go back to the West, because then listen to this, because it's the devil I know, right? And many of us, what we're experiencing right now is if we're in the diaspora, if we're in the, like for me, if I grew up in the West and I know all of the struggles that it is to be in the US, and now I have people telling me to go to Africa, which is my homeland, my birthright, but I'm also going to struggle. My question is, well, why wouldn't I just stay here? Because at least here I already know. And at least if I'm getting screwed, I can still go to Starbucks, right? I can still watch a basketball game, right? Like I can still do all of these other things, right? Because it's the devil I know. Now you guys want me to pick up, take my money and resources, say that probably 20% of the money that I go over to Africa with, I'm going to lose just off of learning experiences. And when I say learning experiences, I mean being conned and those types of things. I have to say is learning. So I would say 20 to 25% of any of your money that you come over to the continent with, you are going to lose it from the experiences of, okay, I know not to work with those types of people. Okay, I know that this. And so the money you lose is just an experience. So I think what a lot of our people are dealing with are, I just want to deal with the devil I know, right? Like I just want to be comfortable. It's hard enough here, but at least I have my reliable internet. I have air conditioning. I have my Starbucks down the road. I have my movie theaters, and it doesn't mean that we don't have that in Africa, but you understand what I'm saying. When you just get used to a certain lifestyle, and if it's already hard now in the comfortable lifestyle that many people live, why go over to the West? Why? Because you tell me that in a year or in 5 years or in 10 years, Africa is going to be the land of milk and honey, right? The reality of it is people are going to say, no, like I'll wait and you do it. And then when that's fine, I come. But see, then the problem with that is, and then I'll leave it with this and kick it back to you, Yaya. The problem with that is then going to be, you then become your own worst enemy in your own self-fulfilling prophecy. Because what you don't like in the West is you don't like working for the man, right? So one of the biggest complaints that you have is, I'm tired of working for the man. I don't want to wake up at 8 and get home at 6 and have very little to show for it. Now you're hearing that there's opportunities to build on the other side, and you're saying, I don't want to do that either. But then in a decade, after a few of us, a handfuls of us already doing that, you're going to go over there in 10 years. Who do you think you're going to work for? So it's you kind of have to pick what you want to do. Do you want to deal with the devil you know, or do you want to go to the unknown where you at least know you have a chance of ownership? At least I can guarantee you, if you come to Africa with a little bit of money, you'll be able to own a piece of land somewhere. I'm not saying it's going to be in the city, but at least at bare minimum, you're going to be able to have a title deed that says, hey, I got a plot that's 2 hectares or 4 hectares or whatever. And at least that's something. And that's sure as hell more than you ever going to be able to own over here in the US.
Yes. Yeah, Denim is a very good speaker. As you can see, this is an actor. Huh? Yeah, he's trying to convince people here. Arr! No, really, he said it very, very well. This is exactly how it is. We are very scared. Me myself, we passed through many things. I cannot even imagine. We losing money is a part of the game, but also in the West. Give people money to do in the West. Just send me this and this goods to send it back to Africa. The money was gone, gone. Yeah. What do you want to do? Because we are also very sensible people. Yeah, we are emotional and spiritual people. Black people are like, if they lose something, it goes right to the heart. Yeah,
It takes a piece
yeah,
of them.
because we give always with everything that we do, we give a part of our heart with it. Yeah, this is a little bit different with the West. They know, okay, I'm doing this contract. It's a money thing.
It's a
Yeah,
money thing.
but
Yeah.
we are giving a little bit of our heart also with it, and this hurts very much when you lose something. But you don't know, you never know what happened at the other side
Right.
of the business or
Right.
of the thing where you have invested to.
Right.
The thing is that the person or the people that have given promises, they can't give up on that what they have said. Yeah.
Right.
An example, some people gave me, like some pastors, they are coming with, let me build a church, because there's no church that is built by a pastor, but is built by the members. Yeah? Let me build a church. And the members are like, yeah, we're going to support, this will be our church. But the pastor is also saying, this is my church that I built it, right? But then the pastor, while he's building the church and he built the church, he has to continue doing the work properly, so that this thing that he received has also a value.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Then
Right.
the people can say, okay, from generation to generation, this is our home that we built it.
Yes.
But if he's giving up on right on the way and in the middle of the in the middle of the work, because some people steal some stone, they stole some other materials from where while they're building the church, and
Right.
he's, no, I don't want no more, don't receive any donations to build this church again. Everyone will be losing. It's like in a football game. Yeah. You have one guy is joking around. Yeah. You don't want to pass ball. Oh, I'm the master, I'm the only player. The whole team will lose.
Right.
So this is why the Most High is saying all the time, who the righteous shepherds. A shepherd can be. He said, "I sent one; he was killed. The other one, he went. I have sent another one to go to take his soul away, to tell them the truth, to bring my fruits into the garden again, my wine, my herbs. The other one to build my house, and everyone was killed. I sent my son; he was killed. So the Most High is like, no, I won't give up to repair, to build. Everything that happens to those people that wants to change the world, it's not correct.
Right.
In the book of Revelation 18, it said that that the West, their children are ruling the world. Their children are the merchandise. Their people are doing the businesses. We as Black people, we are only trying.
We're
You
trying.
look at sky houses, if you see the modern technologies, the big cars, the big old phone industries, the food industries, the people that used to go and take the forests, the wood and everything. It's the white people. It's the Chinese. We are just hanging in the back. We're
Right.
just coming.
Or we're happy to be able to afford a place in the building or afford the car that we can drive. Right. We're about, there's a great I can't remember who said it, but there was a great line that it was like, when you don't feel valuable, your natural tendency when you don't feel like you're valuable is to accumulate things that other people think have value, right? And so a lot of our people, we have a very skewed mindset of ourselves as muntu. We have very skewed mindsets. And so oftentimes we don't see ourselves as being valuable. So instead, what we want to do is we say, well, let me just go and buy things that other people think are valuable. And if I wear them, or if I drive in the car that's valuable, or live in the house that's valuable, or live next to the Kari and Pemba, then somehow everybody will think that I'm valuable. And then that's what ends up happening. And so when you do that, that is how you start to emotionally separate yourself from your people, because you don't see the value in yourself. So if you don't see the value in yourself, there's no way to see the value in others that look like you. And so you then naturally sit there and you go, well, I guess if you can't beat them, join them. So if I want to be successful, I want to be successful. So then, and it seems like everybody else that I'm around that looks like me, they're all busy trying to be victims, right? And this is very triggering for a lot of people. When I say this, I'm not saying all of us want to be victims, but you have to understand, take the meat and spit out the bones, that if you see other people and they're white people, Chinese or Indians, they're just business, not, oh, we can't do it, but how can we do it? And okay, if we need 15 of us to all live in a house and all 15 people have to work and we all live in one house, that's what we're going to do so that we can save up enough money and buy them all, right? And all 15, and that's how they think. They don't think, how can I step on each other to win? They think this is how we're going to do it. This is why they're coming to Africa in droves, right? We're having to do videos, right? And do messages and try to get people. We're trying to sell. What was this that you have to sell? It's like, yeah, you have to sell the black man back to himself, right? Where for them, they're simply going like, there's a guy in Botswana. He's an Indian guy. And he has now the biggest retail phone stores in the entire country of Botswana. And they're now going into Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and all these other places, okay? Now, I asked him, I sat with him because, I'm with business people. This is what you have to do. You have to go and you have to learn from these people. What is it that they're saying about us? And he said, this is what happened. He said, I came over here and my cousin was calling me when I was in India. And he was saying, these people love cell phones. And he was like, what do you mean they love cell phones? He's like, they may not have food. They may not have electricity or car or petrol for their car. But if you give them a cell phone, if you give them an opportunity for a cell phone, they will find the money to buy a cell phone. He said, really? He said, yeah. So he said, his cousin said, send me 100 units to Botswana. And the guy was like, okay, send 100 units. In one day, the units were gone. He said, send me 600 units. In less than a week, 600 units were gone. This guy said, I'm moving to Botswana. And from that time, he was there for less than 8 months, set up his first store. And now he has over 8, 9 stores in the whole country, all cell phones. And this is because he came, he saw the opportunity. He realized if I wanted to do this in India, I could never do this in India. Like I could never do this type of business and scale it so quickly being in India. But I can go here and these people are just so desperate to have the phones and feel like, oh, I have an iPhone, I have this, I have that. So he made a business of it. And then he gets support from his friends in India because they said, okay, well, we can just ship you the cell phones. You could just do all of these other things. So they get help. They're always helping each other. Our thing is, if we're always this crabs in a barrel mentality, we never want to help each other. So we're all traveling alone, which makes everything so much more challenging because I'm trying to build something, but you're also trying to build something. And this person is also trying to build something, but we can all agree that we're all trying to build something, but I'm not going to help you build. Because if I help you build, then I'm not getting anything built. And this is what we're dealing with. This is what you're saying, where they are doing and we're trying. And there's a big discrepancy, and all you have to do is look around.
Exactly. Yeah. We have a lot of ideas, And at last, this ideas goes to the West. You will see that Western people comes with it. Oh, I had the same idea. How can it be that they are now having this store, this business, this factory? And you're like, what's going on, Most High? Did they just
Right.
stole my idea from my
Right.
head?
Right.
This is how it
Right.
works.
Right.
Because the one that has the money, he is the one that will make it.
Money's the
Huh?
money in this Western society, money is king, right? That's why on the back of our dollar bill, on the back of our US dollar bill, that's why it says in God we trust. They're not talking about the most high, right? Like that's why it says if I have my wallet on me on the back of the dollar bill, right? The American dollar, and everybody that's watching this from the US will know it says in God we trust. They're not obviously talking about the most high, that in Zambi, right? They have one that they worship that make sure that this, and they know that as long as they keep worshiping this, it keeps reproducing itself and it keeps building more. That's why, like, guys, what you have to understand, and I'll kick it back to you, Yaya, but this is just so important for us to start to understand.
No, go ahead,
Guys,
yeah, go ahead.
cash is trash. Okay. Cash is trash. Cash is dead. And when I say cash is dead, it's like, oh, are they talking about going to the one world currency? No, listen to what I'm saying. Cash is trash. Cash is dead, meaning it has no life. The only way that your money has any value is if you put it into something.
Into something.
If you just have it sitting there in your bank account, it's dying. It's depreciating. Inflation's going up. So now your money every single day losing more and more and more and more and more. So we because of what some people in the US would say is like post-traumatic slave syndrome, you're used to not having a lot. You're used to feeling like I'm always struggling. I'm just trying to survive. So when they can keep you in a mindset of only survival, you'll never be able to thrive, right? So if you're just always trying to hold on, you're never going to invest in anything. You're never going to go build the business. You're never going to go take a big swing, right? To go do something big, because your whole goal is, I just want to make sure my lights are going to stay on. I just make sure I can pay my car note. I just want to be able to do that. Meanwhile, everybody else is like, yeah, dude, we'll just figure it out. But I'd rather take this money that I have and invest it in something, because after a while, I'm going to get that money back and I don't have to worry about the money sitting in my account while it's depreciating. So cash is trash. Cash is dying. It only matters if you're investing it into something. So a lot of the stuff that we're talking about we're like the last people that really are getting this concept. The Indians, the Chinese, the West, they all understand this. They don't keep millions and billions of dollars in their bank accounts. They own millions and billions of dollars worth of properties and worth of businesses that generate them more money. And then they go and they buy up more land and they build more properties and they go, that is what they do. So until we learn how to have a different relationship to money, and how we learn how to have a different relationship to business, and until we learn how to have a different relationship with each other, we're going to always be in this crabs in a barrel mentality where you can listen to us and what we're saying, but you're like, but that may be good for them, but it's not good for me. Okay. But yet chances are the job that you're working, the person that's giving you a paycheck doesn't look like you. The car that you're driving wasn't made from a person that looks like you. These are all people that have realized cash is trash, and they went out and started a business, believed in themselves, and because they invested, other people wanted to come and invest in them. So no one's going to come and invest in you if you just come and say, but I just have this idea. But did you invest anything? Well, no, I just want you to do it. So you want me to take all the risk and you don't want to have any skin in the game? Oh, well, I'm scared. Well, then that means you don't believe in your idea, right? So I just want to make it very clear, because I think it's so important for us that we're not bashing on our people and we're not bashing on the content, because if we felt like there was no hope in the continent, you wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be there. I have a whole life there, right? But what we're trying to do is we have to start changing our relationship to the way that we look at the continent and the way that we look at each other and the way that we look at money and business, because every other country is doing it in Africa. And some of them are struggling, but as Yaya was saying, they can come in and in 2 weeks, they can do more than what you were able to do in 2 years, because the difference was they took it from here and they put cash, they got a piece of paper and they started building. We sit and we do this and then we talk about it. and then nothing happens. So we have to just start to redo our imagination. We have to rethink the way that we do. And if you really believe in the Most High, and that if you were called to do something, then you have to believe that the Most High is going to bless you. Otherwise, what does that mean when you say faith without works is dead? What does that mean to you? Right? I mean, then now we're having a whole different conversation.
Yes, the scriptures really say that he will enrich our people. He's talking even about 144 power, the mightiest people on the planet. He's talking about the Benabeto. He's talking about the black man, that he will become so mighty, he will control. Pode entrar, our worker. Let me open the door.
But yeah, guys, just why Yaya is gone, I just think it's imperative, and I just harp on this. I know he's going to say something right now, but our job is to have ownership, right? Like the Most High, he has said in the book of Deuteronomy that he created us to be above all people. And until we believe that to be true, we're always going to be operating below. And we get this thing where we want to hear, like we want to hear Yaya tell us, hey, you're some Deuteronomy 7:6, you're supposed to be ruling above all people. You want to hear people say that, but you don't want to live that. But until you start living that, that is where the faith without works part is happening, because you have to go take what you're hearing and you have to physically get up and now move. And the moment that you move, then the Spirit of the Most High now has something to work with. But the Spirit can't work with you if you're just sitting there, right? So you have to apply that which you're hearing and that which you're meditating on. But go ahead, yeah.
Exactly. The thing is that if you also look at the presidents in the West, yeah. Let me take, for example, Putin's campaign when he came. He had also the problem with the president that came before. All the rich people, they wanted to leave Russia. He closed the borders and said, "No, let's work together. No one of you guys will leave. The money have to stay in Russia." Yeah, one of the problem is that when you look at African countries going down, it's because of the rich people, the people that own companies, the people that the self-mates, they take the money out of the country.
Yep.
This is something that the most of the people do not realize. If you see a president, he doesn't have anything. He has backup.
Right.
Yeah? Those people who are on the back, they are the companies. Yeah, they are backupping in. They have the money. They are supporting the presidents, etc., etc. Yeah, which means that we are far away to say that we are like the West. Yeah,
Right.
but if there's someone who can give hundreds of people work, hey, he made it. Yeah, he because the West will come for you and say, now can we please negotiate? Yeah,
Yep. Let's partner.
Exactly. And that's why we have to be very smart, because it's always better to own Beats for Dre than to sell it up. Yeah, because you own it.
Right.
Today it's only your name that stays there, but it's not yours no more.
Right.
Yeah? We need stuff that is ours. It has to stay for us, by us, for us, by us.
Yep. Fubu.
That is what Bufu, yeah. We need that. We need stuff that black people, the world can say in history, that is the black people that own this is theirs.
We need to start seeing "Made in Africa" on tags, right?
Exactly.
Made in China, made in India, we need to start seeing the continent on a tag that says "Made in Africa." And if you want to get
from Africa,
the soaps, the shirts,
cornflakes, cacao,
the everything,
cars,
right?
shoes,
the palm oil, the shoes, the socks, the head wraps for our women, like all of these things we are supposed to be mass producing. But see, one of the things which I think is a great segue is a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, Yaya, is not sexy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not sexy to sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to have a manufacturing plant. What's sexy is I'm going to have a record label. You know what I mean? What's sexy is I'm going to be a footballer, right? That's what's sexy. And that's why this is the key. Everything is this is the hack, y'all, for what the business is. That is why they push that on us so much, because as long as they push that on us, they can go and do everything else. They can own the manufacturing, they can own the textiles, they can do the canning and the jarring and the agriculture, right? They can do all the farming. And that is the stuff that is recession proof, is money proof. It's all the proofs, right? And the key is, y'all, what you really have to understand too is when there's violence and pestilence and plagues and all these other things, guess what? It's not going to matter what the hell you have. Everybody's going down with it. So you to sit around and just be like, oh, well, hopefully I'll just wait. It's not going to matter. So you might as well work anyways, because the chances are when all that stuff happens, we're all going to be in it together, right? Like it's not like you're just going to be exempt. We're going to flee. The Most High will keep, but we're going to have to flee the places that we were out, right? In the book of Matthew, it said, when you come from the rooftop, you better not go back into your house. You better just be going, right?
Yes.
So the Most High is saying that even when that time comes, you might be having things that are built that you may be excited about, but you might have to leave those things for a minute. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be a time where you're going to be able to come back, but there's a time where you're going to have to be able to leave that. So with what Yaya is saying, we have to get this money circulating within us, which means sometimes the things that you might want to do, right? And this is how business works for the people that are running this. I asked this billionaire, this guy that's worth like $4.2 billion or $4.3 billion. And he was doing these sessions. And one of the people, he asked this person, he said, hey, why don't you do marketing? And the person said, well, I don't like marketing. I don't have a passion for marketing. And the billionaire started laughing. And he was like, okay, well, then you're always going to be poor. He was like, making money is not always about doing what you're passionate about. It's you finding a niche and understanding how to solve that niche. I was not ever passionate about marketing, but I made billions of dollars from marketing. So you know what I am passionate about? I'm passionate about being successful. I'm passionate about making money and be able to provide for my family. So meanwhile, I'm giving you an opportunity to make a lot of money. And you're saying, because that's not sexy to you, I'm saying, okay, well, then that's why you're in the position that you're in right now. So a lot of the stuff that we have to really think about is there's certain things that's like, hey, the agriculture, like what Yaya's doing, the agriculture, which I'm dabbling in a little bit, but I don't even talk about it because I'm like, I'm not at the level that I want to be at it yet. So until I figure it out, I'm not going to lecture anybody about it because I'm like, it's a lot of work. So really you have to focus. You really have to think for yourself about, hey, you know what? What will I do? How will I be able to scale my business, start my business, but then also invest? And how will I be able to partner with other people to be able to do this so that we keep our money circulating? And this is how we will be able to grow.
Exactly. You are very well informed. Please don't forget to put your email there, so that people can contact you if they have some questions. Brother Denim is not he's not living for 10 years in Africa, but he learned in the last 2 years, right?
Yeah,
Or
2 years. Yeah.
2 years. He learned so much, and there you can see that he has a passion for Africa, and he has a mission. This is can only be from the Most High. If someone has this kind of passion, this must be from the Most High, because we in the diaspora, we have to go and we have to go and yeah yeah bring some new wind into Africa, because many of our people in Africa, they are down, they are tired, they do not see us as the superior race. They do not see the country as wealthy. They do not see that the Most High is judging the world.
Right.
I mean, that is not a joke. The things that is happening. I mean, sometimes I think I am the only one seeing those kind of things. The last time I asked one of my students, because I have students in Portuguese. Yeah, he's doing very well. Then I asked him, "Do you see what happened here and there in the world famine. They have no agriculture. They are now trying to they have no gas. They are now going back to wood and all this.
Mm-hmm.
What? Where is this happening? Here in Belgium? Where does this happen? I sent him 5 videos. He was like, the world is going down. I didn't know. I can't understand. I
Right.
thought I have to buy a house in Portugal. I was like,
Right.
what? Especially Portuguese people are they're the I used to call them the dumbest Europeans.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're also very small.
Mm.
The dumbest Europeans are the Portuguese people. And
Mm.
we in Angola we took from them. Yeah. So I
Mm.
was like, bro, do you not understand? Do you not get it? It's a judgment going on.
Right.
And the West is only talking about Africa all the time because about our forest that can
Mhm.
help them to survive, about our waters.
Yep.
They have no sugar water no more.
Right.
Yeah. About our air that will give energy to them, our waters that will give energy to them.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about our
Their
our
oil.
people.
Their
Our people are
oil.
so cheap.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, when you go to Spain, or no, when you're a party man and you go to Spain, you have 3,000 euros. You will make a party like a rock star.
Mm.
These people are poor.
Mm.
You look at Spain or nice, um, nice country, blah blah blah, is built it. These people with 400 euros, you are the man. You can live there in a month. You can't live in Germany with 400 euros. You can't live in the Netherlands with 400 euros. You can't go to Norway and live with 400 euros, or in the Switzerland.
Or the
But you can
US.
go to Portugal, to Italy. Yeah. So people are not understanding that even Europe has its upper class and lower class.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to France right now. You will find millions of people on the streets. They have no house. And if you
Mm-hmm.
ask them, how can it be that you have no house? This person looks normal.
Mm-hmm.
He can go to work. I can't find work. We don't have.
That's how it is in the US. Yep.
In America, I think it's not. It's the same.
It's the same.
Normal,
Thing.
strong people that can work, good-looking people. It will be
Mm-hmm.
like, it's not my fault. I'm trying.
Mm-hmm. There's kids here. There's kids here that go to the university, like UCLA here, which is one of the best schools or whatever in Los Angeles or Southern California, who sleep in their cars and then go to school. So they're in a PhD or a master's program, but they have to sleep in their car, and then they get up and then they go and use the school's facility to shower and then go to class.
Exactly. When you look at these Westerners that are coming to Africa, these people are not the upper class.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
These people are not the upper class. So if it is not the upper class coming to Africa, who is coming to Africa?
Right.
You know? So these people are coming, these poor people with little, and then you see them here.
Yeah, puffing their chest.
You cannot even touch him, you cannot even look at him twice.
Right.
You know? And when you hear his story, you will be like, hey, man, I was living in the street in the West.
Yep.
I'm a Chinese poor guy from poor family, but look at me now.
Right. Right. I'm living on the fat of the land.
That's why I'm always like, who can tell our people the truth? The West has its upside downs. It is okay because it gives you a kind of security, a kind of a kind of lie that you see all these flashing lights and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But Africa is first home, and second is when you have something, a little knowledge, they need you. Yeah, you can put it into work.
Strong delusion, right? Like it's they have a spell, like it's literally a spell over our people. We're entranced with the like you said, the lights and the tall buildings and the futuristic way of everything and the air conditioning. And y'all, like there's plenty of air conditioning. Like I have my house, in every room in my house has air conditioning in Africa, right? So it's like this whole notion that it's you guys have hot water? Do you guys have? It's like, yes. And actually, my air conditioning is more reliable there than it is in the U.S. But that's a story for other days. But like you were saying, that's the difference of these other nations go to the continent and somehow they're able to take 500 euro or 1,000 euro and they're like, look, we're just going to figure it out, because you can look and you can see the currency exchange. And you're like, I couldn't do anything in Europe with this money. But if I get to a country in Africa, all of a sudden, that I like in some places they'll sit there and go, I don't have any money. And now all of a sudden you get to an African country and you have tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars in their currency, right? If you're coming from America and you're like, my family's moving together and they've only saved up $100,000. Well, your parents can't retire on $100,000, but you can go to a country in Africa and be a millionaire. Right now in that country, you're a millionaire. And now you can start businesses and you can live a good life. You can rent 5, 6, 7 bedroom homes and it'll be $2,000, $3,000 a month USD to be able to do that. And you'll have a mansion, right? But again, you don't have to do that. But there's like for in Botswana, I was telling people the other day, because the show that I'm on, there's a couple of Black people. So I'm trying to get them to come over in December. When they're done, I said, just come over with a couple weeks. I'll take you to Botswana. I'll take you to South Africa, to Zambia. I'll take you around so you can see some things, to see opportunities. And I said, listen, we don't have a lot of money. I said, there are nice apartments in Botswana, in the capital city of Gaborone, that are 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 900 to 1,000 square feet, right? $400 a month, right? $300 a month. Nice. In LA, if you a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment in LA is almost $3,000 now. $3,000 USD.
Germany the same. Netherlands the same. Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, what are you holding on for? This is our pride. This is where the Most High says that our people are stiff-necked. Like we can see all of the struggle. We live in the struggle every day. But just like how we kind of were when we were in Egypt, and Masa is like, hey, we need to go. We got to do this. The Most High is keeping us from the plagues and all these other things. And when it's time for us to go, some of our people are like, yeah, but like, we're still kind of cool here. Like, you want us to go into the desert and we don't really know. And you're like, no, but there's land of milk and honey and it's going to be there and we're going to go there. And it's like, yeah, dude, but I'm kind of just used to this, right? I'm used to the eating good of Egypt. And I mean, even though you saw the judgment, you saw the plagues, you were still so in that delusion. And that's why the Most High says that 2/3 are going to be cut off. Mainly because we're so stiff-necked, we don't want to get it. We don't want the correction. And it doesn't mean that everything that you or myself says is correct, but our heart is in the right place. And we know that Africa is the future. And we're trying to get people to say, look, you don't have to move tomorrow, but you should definitely be planning to take a trip. You should be saying, I don't need to go and see the Eiffel Tower. I don't need to go see Harrods in London. I don't need to go to Dubai. I need to come to Africa. And that's what I've been telling people even here, where they're like, I asked them, I said, where's your next trip going to? Oh, I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to propose to my fiance. I want to propose to my girlfriend in front of the Eiffel Tower. And dude, I said, why don't you just come to Africa, dude? Like, stop going to Paris Fashion Week. There's nothing in Paris. What are you going to do there? Oh, well, the pictures on Instagram. So we're still in such a strong delusion. So in my personal opinion, Yaya, it hasn't gotten hard enough yet. Right? Because you can
you're like my father.
But it hasn't gotten hard enough yet. So and that's what we need. Like sometimes for some of our people, we all learn at different level, right? And some of us, we're like, hey, don't touch the stove. And we're like, at an intellectual level, I can see, hey, when I put things on the stove, it gets hot. And there's other people that are like, maybe I should just tap it.
Revelation 7:3, it's saying very, very clear that Moses is saying to the four beasts, the 4 elements, don't finish them all off, because if I'm starting now to finish up the West, no one will be saved. Yeah, because stiff-necked. Yeah, the thing is, when we talk about the currency, it's very important. Africa is not cheap.
No.
Africa is not cheap a little bit, not even a little. And at the moment, in the next 5 years, if people are uh, not investing in something in Africa, people like Simon Toko said, in one house there will be 10 or 15 families.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, like this, living like I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay for us because you have to flee from the West. I
Mm-hmm.
I I believe in prophecies. I don't know. There are some prophecies. They are not like prophecies like the people here in church. You will become rich. You will make it to Europe. You will marry. You
Right.
will,
Right.
have a new job.
You'll get the Mercedes
Oh,
Benz.
oh,
Yeah.
they showed me. Oh, they showed me. No, these prophecies are prophetic. They are telling you guys things will change in the West. This will become this. This will become this. And
Right.
this is the problem. In the next years, changes will come to the West, and their currency, this dollar bill, it's well fought.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, the dollar would be down long time ago, but
Yep.
the Americans are strong. They are
Just keep printing.
strong, strong.
We keep printing money. We
Strong
keep
killing
printing money, and we keep going to war. Right. If you keep printing
people.
money, you keep going to war.
Exactly, strong killing people. They don't want to fall because blood will be shared.
Right.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care because they
Right.
don't want to fall, not even a little. Because the money need value, like I said. If there is no value behind it, and they build it, America already. Where do you want to put the value again? Everything is builded. That's the
Done.
problem. You can only go to China like they have invested before, but China now is strong too.
Mm-hmm.
The where do we have to West to invest now at the next? It's only Africa, and they don't want to do that.
Right.
They're still trying South America, Latin America, taking
Yep.
goods from there, but they're
Yep.
also exhausted.
Yep.
Arabia has no oil, the waterways are down, the Viet Cong is down, that the Nile River is drying off. So we have real problems. If they want or not, they have to come to Africa and negotiate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is the next thing? They will not come and destroy Africa because Africa has to feed us.
It's their
Africa,
lifeline.
yes, it's the living tree now, the
Yep.
mother of us all, and it's free.
Right.
Yeah, which means if you want or not, struggling or not, losing or not, yeah, you have to do something in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there are some countries where the dollar bill is still very high. Yeah,
Right.
countries are not so developed. You can't go to Ghana and make one of the big boss because you have the dollar. They
Right.
will be like, this land here, give me 50,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this car here that costs in the West like 30,000, give me 40,000 for that. You will be like, hey, in the
Right.
West, this
Yeah.
car cost only. It will be
and
no, not
and what you're
here.
paying for electricity in Ghana, right? Just electricity alone, you're like, oh, I could just, but this is rent. Like that's how expensive. That's how expensive. And yeah, to your point, one of the things I just wrote it down. That's why I was thinking about it. I think that the Most High, like how you're saying, how we're all going to live together. To me, the Most High is going to force us to work together. There's not going to be, because we're not naturally, even with all the things that we're talking about, and people at an intellectual level understand what we're saying, but we still have this trust issue with one another. And so the Most High, in my personal opinion, in my spirit, it's like, I'm going to make it so difficult and so challenging that, like, there's this in one of the Star Wars movies, they were like stuck in this like trap, and it kept just going like this, right? And so they were able to have all this separation. So to me, that the Most High is going like this to us, he's going to force us to get together, so where there's no other place to turn but to one another. Because to me, that is exactly what you're saying. You're trying to go to all these other places looking for the last resort, like you're wandering around not being able to find any rest anywhere, and then you're like, but I don't want to go to Africa. And it's like, and we understand, like Yaya said, it's not cheap. There are certain countries that have a great currency or whatever for, for the dollar or for the euro, for the pound, which are all pretty much even right now. I think, the euro and the dollar are almost similar, or the dollar might have overtaken the euro slightly. But I do think that the Most High is going to force us to work together. Now, just like a father, when the father forces you to do something, chances are you're not going to like what you're being forced to do. So it's better for you, like, when I was growing up, that they said, hey, go to bed by 9 o'clock. I would prefer when I saw the clock to turn 9 to take myself to bed. If it was 9:05 and my father saw me still up and he has to take me to bed, it's a completely different experience, right? It's not the same experience. So I look at it in the same way that we have to understand what the opportunities are. And if you really want something, you have to ask. You have to inquire. You have to reach out to your fellow brethren. And like Yaya said, there's many people on YouTube. There's many people on this selling you this dream of, oh, send me $5,000 and I'll buy you land. Maybe, but where's that land going to be? Right? Like you can send me $5,000. I can buy you land somewhere in Botswana. But I'm going to tell you one thing. You won't be able to get to it. You will have no idea. There's no fence. There's no anything. It's just on lands that's, it'll be on 100,000 hectares of land. And I say, oh, but you own this little piece of land there. So you have to understand that you have to come and you have to see with your own eyes. And if the whole notion is, well, I don't have any money, the question is, we had this conversation a year ago, and there's many people a year ago that said, I want to come to Africa, but I don't have any money. My question to you is, for those people that are watching this now that were listening a year ago, how many times did you buy a new pair of shoes? How many times did you buy new clothing? How many times did you go, if you're female, and get your nails done or your hair done, all these other things? All of that is money that you could have been saving to take this trip now a year later, right? So we have to get to this point where if you truly say that you want something, all of your actions every single day need to suggest that that's exactly what you want. You cannot just say, oh, I want to come to Africa because it sounds good to type it in a comment section. The difference is it has to be in yourself. You have to say, how can I get to Africa? How can I do it? Because when you sit there and you tell yourself, how can you, your brain is forced to think about solutions. If you just say you can't, your brain just goes, okay, on to the next, right? So I do think that while there's an opportunity, like Yaya is saying, that right now, the world it is in judgment, but it's not as bad as it's going to be. You still have the opportunity. You have this window where you can still travel relatively easily. You can get into these countries to learn about the visa situations of these countries, what things you'll be able to build. When times get tough, you're just like a refugee and you're just trying to get somewhere. And exactly. You can't worry about a business. You can't worry about worse. You're just going to be there. So I would just say, really get your mind to a space and your spirit to a space of saying, look, if I can go out and if you're in the US or in Europe and I can get a credit card for $2,000, $3,000, I might go out and get that credit card and say, you know what, let me buy a ticket to Africa and just see with my own eyes what I can possibly do there.
This is also what I would say for many people. The West has done it with Africa so many times. They went to different kinds of countries in Africa. They just took credits from the banks. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm in Botswana, I'm taking my credit and leaving with the money. Then I'm going to Gambia and taking money. Then I'm going to Congo and taking my money. Yeah, this is what they did.
Yeah.
So if you have an idea, take a credit in the West, $10,000 or whatever, and you know this will work, 20,000. Go to Africa and invest this. Yeah. And when you have all the papers right and everything, take the money in the same country and invest again to what you're doing.
And so there's a good book that I want. If it's okay, I'm just gonna say it because I think it's a good book about Africa. I'll say the name in a second. I just want to back up with what you're saying because it's called this is the book. It's called How to Succeed in the African Market. Okay, so this is a play.
Yes.
Okay, this is a play. I'm telling y'all right now that this is written by us for us, and it breaks down what the Chinese are doing, what the Americans and what Europe is doing. It's a very dense book, but everybody, if you can't afford to get to the continent, you sure as heck can afford to buy this book, right? Mm-hmm. So at least show some type of investment. But that's exactly, I had a friend that came to Africa before, and he said, you know what I kind of want to do is, he's like, I kind of want to go back to the West, get like a small business loan for like $100,000 and then come back to the continent. And now that is like $1 million in this country, in this particular country that he was talking about. And he was like, I want to get a small business loan or whatever. And I want to take that money that I get from my small business loan and go over to Africa and then invest it in Africa. And he was like, because my interest rate is going to be very, very low. and I'll be able to make the monthly payments just like you would do with a credit card or whatever. And it was like, these are people that what it is these people are in business mindset. See, you have to start to surround yourself with people that are operating at a higher frequency than you are, right? One of the reasons why for me, why I like being able to speak to Yaya and be around him is because he's operating at a different frequency. So he forces me to expand. He forces me to build. He forces me to think about other things. If you're focused on people that are not doing anything, you're hanging out with people that aren't doing anything. They're just hanging out and they're just happy to get to the weekend. Those are people that you're going to sink in a ship with. So you have to expand and get out of your comfort zone and admit to yourself, hey, I don't have all the answers. And it's okay not to have all the answers. That's why I'm reading these books. That's why I ask Yaya certain things, because I'm sitting there and I'm going like, Yaya, I'm going to ask you right now because I think it's so important for our people. What would you say, or what is the advice that you would say, which is kind of the parlay of both these conversations, for you understand, and you've done a lot of teaching about the judgment of the nations, the biblical end time prophecies, pestilence, and all these other things. I'll just be personal, because if I say I'm taking responsibility for the question. How do I then understand and know that what you're saying is true, but then also have the courage and the energy and the positivity to want to care to invest, to want to try to grow a business, to try to start a family, or to do all those other things, when I'm hearing also things that says like, woe to the child, woe to the woman that gives a child suck in those times. So how do I know that those things are true on one hand, but then also have the energy and the desire to try to build a life in the other hand? So what would you say to that?
It's very simple. You will see that the biblical characters, all of them had such kind of knowledge, very producive people. They had the cattle, they built it, they had homes. No one of them was really poor.
Right.
From Job to Abraham, no one of them. Moses lived in the Pharaoh's house until the time came. So the Most High is really saying to us, He's forcing us to come with a great economy, to challenge the West with our knowledge. When you go to the book of Romans 11, it said that the whole world is rich because of us. But when the fulfillment, which means the time comes, then how rich will we become? Knowledge, which is occult knowledge, will be given to us, which means the knowledge from the West, and plus will be given to us, and we will do something that is almost perfect. This is what they used to call Wakanda, a perfect land. People described it in the Bible like trains that will go with multi-speed,
Right.
plans that can go to other dimensions. So
Like
it will be a complete
time
other
warping.
world.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But if you want to come there, you have first to learn, what did the West do? How did they build how was the phone made? How did they made the how does the light function?
How
How
does
can we
Tesla work?
get electricity? Yeah, we have to learn. Without learning,
We have to humble ourselves. We have to
yeah.
humble ourselves. And sometimes our hatred is getting in the way of us being able to humble
So, and
ourselves.
that's why we're in the house of the Pharaoh, to learn what do they do, how did they do that, how do they do their planting, their and their agriculture, how do they do their companies, and we have many people today. We have people in the politics. We have people. They are CEOs from big old companies. Yeah. So which means we learned. Yeah, we have people everywhere. They knows here a little bit and here and there a little bit. We have people in the army, great generals
Yeah.
that can go to the Africa and say, "Man, I will now be the worstest nightmare for the West."
Right.
Right. So we have those people. So the West is in danger already. So the Most High will now bring these people in the righteous time, give them the righteous knowledge, the righteous spirit, to be like, now I will fight for my own. You see? And that's why the West is always like, no, stay here, take this,
right?
Exactly, and
That's why
keeping
they're
Africa
giving.
poor and keeping Africa in a bad mood because they
Mhm,
know if these people around them understand, no, we can make it better. We can make
mhm,
it for ourselves.
mhm.
They will be in great, great, great trouble.
This is why even in the West and like it is in Europe, they always are giving us now more awards, more movies, more shows, more everything, because they're like, if we give you more awards and we celebrate you more here, you'll never want to leave. You'll never want to focus on a possibility of something better. So they want to keep you distracted. And I love what you said about the fact of us being in Pharaoh's house, that we're here to learn. And one of the things, and I'm saying this for myself, like everybody, I just want to use the caveat that everything that I'm saying, I'm talking to myself in these things as well, is that sometimes our hatred for the Kari and Pemba oftentimes gets in the way of our ability to learn. And instead of it's natural, we feel a lot, but we have an opportunity to learn so many things. So if we can put aside our hatred and humble ourselves, we'll be able to learn a lot. Everything is about strategy, right? If generals, you can't be emotional. That's why there's only certain people that have leadership qualities, because leaders have to almost be, I don't want people to get offended so I got to find another word. They almost have to be numb to emotions. Because if you're not numb to emotions, every single time you feel something, you're moving your troops in a different direction. You have to be able to take some hits and be able to say, it's okay, this is how we move forward. And so just like what Yaya was saying, which I think is it's so brilliant, us being in the house of Pharaoh, we're not in the house of Pharaoh to be entertained by all of the trappings of Pharaoh. We're supposed to be there to learn. And then from there, that is when the Most High says that he will bring us out with great riches. And the great riches, I think oftentimes our people think is always a physical thing. But this is
Wisdom.
this is the riches. And
But you will increase it,
you will
and
increase it. There's a great show, this documentary that was called like Undercover Billionaire. And it was essentially these billionaires that they took and put them in cities that they've never been in and gave them $100. And the whole point of this psychological experiment was, did you just get lucky making all this money, or can you take this anywhere and be successful? And
yes,
every single one of them in 90 days was able to build a company up to an over $1 million evaluation, because they have perfected the ability to take this anywhere. So I would respectfully suggest that if any of our people are feeling paralyzed because they say, oh, well, I don't have the money to get over there, but you have the money to buy this book that I just shared with you. You have the money to be on online and be able to do you have to do something more than watching videos? You have to find your craft that you're good at and start learning about what that craft is. Bring organic seeds over to the continent. If you're doing horticulture with animals, learn how to make your own feed and sell the feed. So there's a lot of opportunities that I think that we really need to be learning, that you see every single day, that people like us in the West, we just take advantage of because we think it won't be useful. Almost every single business opportunity that you can think of is needed on the continent.
exactly. You said it very well, and this is what the whole world is fearing, because the scriptures are saying that the knowledge is power, knowledge is everything that you need, will come back to us.
Mm-hmm.
We are the one that told Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in his
Right.
dreams. All his astrologues were didn't know any answer. We were the one that feeded Egypt in the time of famine. We built the pyramids. We built Barcelona. So we are very smart. We are very dangerous people.
Mm-hmm.
We are very smart, and the thing is that they don't want us to give us time. That's why you have people hunger, people full and work for the Kadian paper, but they won't show you. Do you know what? Come here, brother Denim. This and this we do. This material comes from here. We do zinc
Right.
from Africa. We do take copper. We put it together, and then the machine does this and this. But if you know, it's a problem for them when you now
Right.
have the money and the
Right.
support, and
Right.
Then you see Kim Jong-un. He learned in he learned in the West.
Right.
Putin, he learned in the West. There is no one, no president who did not
Gaddafi.
learn in the West and
Yep.
took the knowledge from them and brought it to his country.
Yep.
The same like the factories in China. The knowledge came from the West.
Yep.
We saw it in the last 60 years how China came up by learning every single thing from the West. They copied everything. You saw everything was garbage, but today they have qualities. China
Mhm.
quality,
Mhm.
modern Western Europe quality, and then it goes
Yep.
higher. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
which means you have to learn. Why
Right.
do people not want to learn? My
Right.
cousin, that is a millionaire here in Angola, he's like, Massa, everything that you know from the West, so say thank you. So he's also right. He's like, you wouldn't be that what you are if you wouldn't see the
Right.
witchcraft from the white people. You are just smart because you saw everything and you took it. It's just
Right.
you still key. And white
Right.
people are now scared of you, what you will do with it. The Most High is
Mm.
saying, I will give you 10%, the other one 40%, the other one hundreds. And at last I
Right.
will ask you, what did you do with that what I
What did
gave
you
you?
do with it? What did you
Did
do
you
with
just
it?
watch and wait for the judgment? Did you just what did you
Mhm.
do with that? Yeah.
Mhm.
And the whole world that is in spirituality or religion have to be very careful, because there's some people that want just to take that what is from you but was given to you to use it by themselves. Yeah, this
Mm.
happening very often. Yeah, which means there are people that they just want your star, they just want your crown and work with it. And
Crown. Yeah.
many people that has if you see people sometimes that don't have success in the spiritual way, if we go now and talk about spiritual
Yes.
things, it's because other people took that what was theirs and they're working with it, they're
Mm.
using it. Yeah, which means that we have to be always very careful by always following religion, because uh, the real religious people, they build it Barcelona, they build it Rome, they build it Germany and all these countries. These countries, this is what they have done with Mecca in the
Right.
Arabia. These people are
Right.
religious. Religion goes with business and politics.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Right.
you can't say that you're religious and you can't feed your people.
Right.
Yeah. There is no Abraham walking around and saying to Lord, hey, we have everything. So
Right.
choose your ways. Where do you want to go? Yeah. These
Right.
people were so rich.
Right.
Okay. You can't
Right.
imagine. So
Right.
we have to be always honest that the most I say, I will feed you guys. There will be no one around me that will suffer hunger, which means this is a righteous way to
Mm. Mm.
define and understands the economical system that we have to establish for our
Mm.
people in the land and even outside, because
Mm.
we have now in America, we have like 1% of the African American high quality of rich people. And
Yeah.
now you imagine that these people say tomorrow we're gonna go to invest in Africa. This
We're
will be a
out.
big problem in
Yeah.
for the American. You don't need you sometimes you just need 1 million to do your cars and to buy some houses and to rent it out, and why people have to come to go to your houses, so you will become richer and richer. It's
Right.
very easy. It's
Right.
very easy. It's not.
Right.
It doesn't take a lot
It
in
doesn't take
Africa,
a
because
lot.
in Africa nothing is built.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
everywhere you can go now today to Gambia, you can start building. You will make money because nothing
There's
is built there.
nothing there. There's
Yeah,
nothing there.
you
Yeah.
and if you have a little, you just do 1 day, 2 days, and you see the president.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
you sit in front of him just
Yeah.
because you have a little
Yeah.
influence.
Yeah.
So, and the West is doing everything. Yeah, but at last they have to cooperate. I was in Germany, uh, sitting with some politicians there. They are like, man, at last we have to go to Africa and buy bananas and buy this, and
Mm.
they're like they just steal, but now they have to buy.
They have to
This is
buy.
these are two different kind of things.
Hmm.
And from where? From whom do they have to buy? From white farmers? From white people? No, the white farmers, they are taking their owning land and stuff like that, but they're paying for it, rent.
Right.
So it's not so easy, because there are some countries that still have their tradition and culture. And if you go against this culture and traditions, you will be doomed. You can be the whitest people on earth. If you're going against the traditions of the land and traditions of the people, it's dangerous. And this is something what also the nations know. There are some things they can't change. They can't go to Africa and just own Africa and take Africa. That's why they run away from Africa. How many times did they come to Africa? The Greeks, the Romans, all these people, they came to Africa, but no one of them could stay. Maybe just a few of them. Yeah. Which means you can't come with all the violence. Violence against each other is something different than if someone comes to do violence against you. Because if you wake up, the Most High will be directly against them, and something will happen to them. There are some people that came to do things in Africa, like mining and streets, building houses, bricks, building bridges. Yeah. When there are two seas or two rivers, that you shouldn't build a bridge. Yeah, because the Most High never wanted these bridges to connect with each other. And you come and you build a bridge there without asking the spirit of the Most High. You just build a bridge so that you can steal from the other side. These people, they never made 1 or 2 years, they died. So European people know that. Yeah, they know that this country has its own life. Africa has its own
spirit.
Yeah. So they have to cooperate. They did it in the thing that they did in Latin America is they Christianized them in a way so that they can just go and take, and it's easier for them because their own Latin America is just like the white man's second place to go.
It's South America, right? Like it's South America for a reason. That's why they call it South America for a reason.
Exactly. So it's South America. They just Europeans just go and take whatever they want, and they bring a lot of evil to these errors. Because it's like this our tribes. But in Africa, there's still something that said don't do, because here it's the end. And now they're trying slowly. Europeans never come with full power. We're like, we just own. No, they're coming, negotiating, tricking. Hey man, do we want this to get this? Do we want, and this is where the Most High want us, the diasporans, to be smart and to say, hey, those who can go fast, do something, because later I will make you to become big so that you can get profit for our people, because it's a fight here. Businesses will never end. Even and when the bombs fall to this world and there's no money no more, there will be the first one starting selling things. Hey, give me this and this so that you can receive this and this.
Give me a spoon and I'll give you a fork. Give me some apples, I'll give you some oranges.
Exactly.
Right. And I think that what you're saying as well too is the importance of understanding that when you come, there's an opportunity, but you have to be very wise. You have to have so much discernment. And even like Yaya was saying, like even in South Africa right now, like a lot of Europeans are fleeing South Africa. Farmlands, there's thousands of farmlands now that are up for sale in South Africa. And I'm going to give everybody a business play. I always say, like, I call them business plays. So a free business play. So many of our people will say, you guys talk so much. Now I really want to go. I'm passionate about this. I'm going to tell you the one great thing about Africa that I have really loved about it is this is a business play, is being able to do what you call owner financing. Now, what is owner financing? So for instance, in the US, right, if I was going to go buy a piece of land or something like that, my usual steps would be, I'm going to go to find the place that I want. I'm going to go to the bank. And then hopefully the bank will approve me, look at my credit score and all these other things and be able to hopefully do that. And then maybe they'll approve me and then I go submit and I buy and then I pay a thing. Now, the free play is in Africa, depending on if you're intelligent, you can go to a farmer or a person like that and say, do you own the deed to this land? right? So there might be a plot of land. Let's say it's 4 hectares, which is like 12 acres. I say 4 hectares because usually, like in certain African countries, the standard land size of what you would be able to get on average is like 4 hectares, right? Like anything under that, it's like there's no point of even getting it. And so 4 hectares translated to that is like almost 11 or 12 acres or something like that. But anyways, so what you can do is you can go to the landowner and you can say, do you own the title deed to this land? The thing, title deed, not do you own the land? Do you hold the title deed? That means you have full ownership. That means that the bank doesn't own the deed. That means that the owner owns the deed outright. And now the owner wants to sell it. So your mind coming from the America would be like, oh, okay, well, either one, let's say that this 4 hectare land is a $10,000, right? Now you're like, but I only came here with $10,000. If I give him $10,000, what will I do? Then I just have this piece of land, but I have no money for goods or this, that, and the third. So now this is where you come in with owner financing. You can come in and say, hey, I would love to buy your piece of land. Why don't I give you $2,000 right now? And then every single month, I will pay you $500 until this land is either paid off, and I'll give you a 4% interest. So say you want $10,000 for this. If you allow me to do financing for it, I will end up giving you $11,000 for this. Now you'll sit there and go, well, Denim, why would I pay $11,000 for something that's $10,000? Because you don't have to pay all the $10,000 right now. You'll now be able to stretch those payments out over a year. Sometimes, usually in certain African countries, they don't feel comfortable doing anything over a year because they're like, come on, dude, like a lot of the property is not that expensive. But usually you can do a year, maybe 18 months. So now what you're able to do is I'm able to come in for $2,000. We sign a contract. I get the deed at the end of my $2,000. But what happens is immediately after I put the $2,000 deposit down and we've signed the contract, I can start building on the land. Right, I can start my multicultural projects. I can get goats. I can get sheep. I can get all these other things, and I can start my business now, still with $8,000 of capital that I can now put in there and start my business. So this is what you call owner financing. So this goes back to my thing of what I'm saying. When you keep saying that you can't do something, you forget about the opportunities of how you can do something. And I have done this in Botswana already, because there's some things where I was like, I could afford to pay it all in cash, but I wasn't certain that I was getting the right deal. And so I said, hey, look, I'd like to buy your place. I'd like to buy your land. Why don't we do this? I'll give you half the money right now. And then over the next course of 6 months, I'll do 6 payments. You hold on to the deed, or the deed will go to the land board, where you'll put the deed in the land board and we both have to sign off for it. So you don't get the deed and I don't get the deed, but we on this contract say that I can immediately start. Okay, I pay half, we sign, it's my land. I can start doing everything that I need to do on it. I make my payments every month. If I can build, and now my businesses can start to make some money. And now it becomes easy to make those payments. And now I can do that and you just rinse, wash, and repeat this over and over and over again. So this is a free business play, and you'll take it or leave it, however you want to do it. It's called owner financing. So really think about it and really understand that, like what Yaya's saying, there's always going to be businesses, but the businesses are only going to be good if you know how to do the business. And that is what these other nations know how to do brilliantly. Like you said, they come in, one person comes in, makes a negotiation, then they call their friend, hey, I got this piece of land. This is what I did. Do it right next to mine. Then his friend comes, then all of a sudden, 2-3 years goes by and they own an entire city block. And then they take that deed. My last thing, they take that deed and then they take it to the bank and they say, hey, look, we want a loan now for $3 million or whatever. And they go, okay,
they're taking like hundreds of millions of people.
And then you build everything that you want. And the bank holds the title deed to your land as collateral. They give you this free money. And then you go and build your giant city centers. That's how it works.
Exactly. And the Most High bless us so that we can do much more in Africa.
Yes.
There are many, many people, even people from the West, from all over the places that are trying to establish themselves in Africa, everywhere in Africa.
Yes.
And yeah, this is the only way how we can change the political system in Africa. These borders must be removed. We have to, yeah, we have really to pray that the Most High finds more people with the righteous spirit coming down to Africa and trying to change our world.
Yeah.
Because if you change our world, you are changing the world of your children. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Denim, do you have something that you want to add?
No, I think this is a great, hopefully this was an enriching conversation for everyone. I definitely always learn by being able to speak with you. But I do think that the overall thing is we have to just change our mindset. We have to think about how we can do things and not how hard everything is. And we have to reach out to one another, and we have to start trusting one another. And that doesn't mean that some people are not gonna let you down. But I liken this a lot. Like, there's people that have had a bad experience at a restaurant, but they will go back to the restaurant again. But with a lot of times with our people, we have one bad experience with our people, and then we go like this, and we never deal with us again. And so one of the opportunities that we have to have is we have to understand that we reach out to the people that are on the continent. We hopefully hope that their hearts are open to help teach and do the things that they can within their reason. You have to remember that they're under a lot of pressure because it's a lot of work over there. But just do your research, find a country that you find like fits for you. I'm sure Yaya has his top 5 countries that he would probably recommend. I have my top 5 countries. There's definitely certain countries that I'm just against, and I just would be like, don't go there, or whatever. But the first things first, invest in your knowledge first, and always pray and meditate and let the Most High guide you. And if that's what you're led to do, then do that. But if you're not led to do that, then you're not led to do that. Like it just is the way that it is. So that's the only thing I could say. Invest in yourself first so that you can invest in other things. And then your investment will eventually reap you a lot of rewards.
Ingeta.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, yeah, Denim. I think what time is it there now?
2:30 in the morning.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's okay. It's fine. Okay, we have here. What time is it now? 10 in the morning.
Yeah, you're good.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Denim, for here and blessing this channel and blessing the Bantus and blessing everyone that follows this channel. I hope you heard the message and understood it very well, because it's very important not to give up. We have to do our best to fulfill our mandate. May the Tanzambi always be with us, because without the Most High, you can't do nothing.
Anything.
Yeah, there must be something that is pushing you, that is with you, doing all the things that you're doing. If you are empty, you won't do these kind of things. Yeah,
Right.
which means, like I said, some people where no one is the same. So to some people was given 20% of the Most High Spirit. Maybe some people have a little bit more, 50. Some people have 70 and even hundreds. And the Most High Spirit doesn't mean that you only have to be a spiritual person, like a preacher. This is something that the most of the people do not understand. The Most High's people are in science, they are in politics, they are in everything that can bring our people forward. Everything that you have learned from the West and that you're doing, you can use this kind of things to bring us as a nation back to power. Yeah, and this is very important. Yeah, to fear the Most High for everything that you have done. It can be forgiven. Yeah, and if then you say, hey, I have also done good things. Yeah, I have also done good things, and these good things will be counted. It will be not forgotten. Yeah, and you can move with that. Leave the bad things, and move with the good things that you're doing,
Mm,
and the good things will be counted. It will be
mm,
not forgotten.
mm,
And I know that the Most High will lift us up in the next 5 years.
mm.
The All of us will see the coming events. Um, I was always laughing while I was watching TV in Germany when they are showing uh, different kinds of things happening all over the world. Like every day, something else,
Something crazy is going on.
crazy things, and then they're going to show in Africa. Oh yeah, here in Kenya we had also a little famine. I'm like, you
Yeah,
guys you guys have nothing else to show because
nothing.
in Africa nothing is happening here.
Nothing's
This is
happening there.
this is not new that there is a little famine in this era.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right. Oh, elections are, there's a contested election going on in Africa, and that's what the only thing that they can talk about.
but from
Yeah.
their side, you seen houses are flying away. You
Mhm.
see the all the agriculture structure gone.
Tens
You
of
see
thousands of cattle dying in fields. Yeah,
judgment. Yeah.
yeah, judgment.
So political problems like crazy, money crisis. These people are falling
Yeah,
fast,
yeah,
and we have to be very smart, very
yeah,
very smart.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. And I think you have Brother Denim's contact. Contact him. He's doing great things in Botswana. Yeah, and he, as you could see, he's explaining things very well. He's an Afro American. Yeah, which means he can help because sometimes it's better to connect to people that come from the same um, country and stuff like that. Yeah, so that Brother Denim, he came the last 2 or 3 years that we have contact. He came to Africa and he did a lot. So you can learn a lot from him. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Thank you very much. I will see you very soon.